Well, welcome back. Now today, the best banquet facility, the best martini, the most romantic restaurant in the state, all those accolades have gone to the properties of the Knowles family. Wade, welcome today.
Thank you.
Off camera we were talking and you said, well, we're going to talk about the Highlawn Pavilion and the 100th anniversary, and I said it'll be great to mention, but the truth be told is that you represent the family that's the most influential restaurateurs, not only in New Jersey, but I would argue in the country.
That's very nice of you. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here. Let's talk about your properties and the quick 2-minute history of the Knoll family, and I guess the bow and arrow and your dad starting it all, Harry Knowles.
Right. My father bought what was called the Moresque in West Orange in 1956, and in '67 we changed it from Bow and Arrow Manor to the Manor just to make it cleaner. But the family business goes back on my father's side to my father's grandfather having a tavern in East Newark.
Is that right? I didn't know that about your family.
Yeah, they were the English side of the family, and his brother, my great uncle, was a councilman from Kearney, and on my mother's side, it was in the Clifton area, the Robin Hood Inn. And so my children are now in the business, one of them, and one of my brother's sons is. They're sixth generation.
I was going to say, I was counting, I was like sixth generation
yeah.
in the business.
Yep.
And it's amazing. Most people at home, beyond that history, would know of the Manor, which I guess was the beginning of the signature of elegance and wonderful food and drink. So talk about the Manor and how that's continued to be an important part of the flagship, if you will, of the restaurants.
Well, when Dad wanted to go off on his own from basically working in my mother's side of the family's restaurant, having come back from the war. Dad was a fighter pilot in World War II.
He's a war hero, your dad, actually.
My father's amazing, I have to say that. Yeah. He's that greatest generation, and
no
very
question.
humble, doesn't talk about it, but he was in the European theater, and when he got back from the war, there were no airline jobs for the fighter pilots. They took the larger format planes, which were the bomber pilots. So the fighter pilots were out of luck. So he went back to where he had worked prior to the war as a busboy, now became a waiter, worked his way up through a couple years, and in '56 decided he wanted to go off on his own and purchased that restaurant in West Orange.
And the Manor now, again, that's a signature place for weddings and for all kinds of corporate affairs, personal affairs, right, what have you. And the next of the properties, I believe, was the Highlawn, and we're talking about the 100th anniversary. Not that the Knoll family has run it for that long, but talk a little bit about the Highlawn Pavilion and Eagle Rock Reservation and that beautiful place.
Well, Highlawn was a precedent-setting effort between the county entity and a private business entity.
Public-private partnership. We need to do more of that.
Yeah, and it was tough, I will say that. But things that are successful usually are tough. But it was a building in terrible repair, and the county looked to raise it, and the cost was way too high. So the then county executive approached us about the thoughts of making it a restaurant. It went into a bid process. In about '83, I think we started this. 3.5 years later, we opened it.
And when I say the rest is history, again, that's become just a signature venue for the entire state. There's nothing more beautiful.
Yep,
the way that it's put together and the look over the vista looking into Manhattan, and the food's okay too.
Yeah, we love it.
Well, now take us from the Highlawn to a property that maybe a lot of people haven't been to, but you think you're in the meadows in France, the Pleasantdale Chateau.
True. The reason a lot of people don't know about it was Allied Signal's founder who built that as a home, private home. When he passed away,
as his summer home during the Great Depression.
Yeah, and then they eventually moved into it permanently.
Yeah.
But it was left to the company Allied Chemical then as a corporate training retreat, and it was highly secured. There was just a number on the sign out front, if people do remember that, because the president would fly in there. There's a heliport there, and Allied did a lot of munitions work and so forth. So a lot of top secret things went on in there, and they wanted it very
right, exclusive. Well, happily, that history of being exclusive has been preserved, but in a whole other way now. With the Knoll family coming in, you were able to just preserve the opulence of the really the manor home. You do things like grow your own vegetables there. I think you do that all over for all of your properties.
Well, we've concentrated there now. We had some garden space at Highlawn, which was unnecessary when we increased the size of the farm at Pleasantdale. Pleasantdale was three farms, three Dutch farms, 200 years ago, and so we're bringing the farm back. We're bringing it, increasing it actually every year.
Well, you want to talk about the Dutch history, and I want to talk about the fact that the movie Cocoon was filmed there.
No,
in the
Cocoon
pool
wasn't filmed there.
I thought in the pool
No,
it
no,
looks like the Pleasantdale.
Everyone thinks that.
Sam Simeon, it looks like.
Yeah. It was not filmed there. Cocoon wasn't, but multiple other pool scenes were. In fact, there is in a Law and Order segment where someone is pushed into the pool in a wheelchair. I mean, but it wasn't Cocoon.
Well, I know that there's been a. See, no wonder why I keep getting old. I keep flying into the pool hoping that it'll that it'll help.
I tried it. It doesn't work.
The Sopranos has been filmed there. I know you're not allowed too much to talk about your proprietors or secrets, but I think maybe Bruce Springsteen and his family might have spent the weekend. It's that kind of a place.
A lot of The Sopranos, I think 7 episodes were done there. We had a lot of fun with that because they didn't want to, I won't ramble here quickly, but they liked it because they could bring the trucks in at night into the larger parking lot areas and no one knew they were there.
It was all good till they used the helicopter and the mayor at the time had to find them.
Never ended up in an episode.
Isn't that funny?
They cut it. Most expensive scene ever to film in Sopranos, and it was cut.
Especially that $40,000 fine we gave them that we just made up as we went.
That was
long.
Yeah.
Beyond all the properties that we have, you have a lovely hotel right on Prospect Avenue next to the Manor that services the Manor and your other fine restaurants. And what's the future? I know you've done a lot as the president of the State Restaurant Association. You travel all the time to Europe, coming back with ideas. Talk about all that.
Well, we keep doing that. I wasn't the president of the association. My brother's a member of the National Restaurant Association. We're both on the board of the Distinguished Restaurants of North America, which is a international thing now. But we just keep moving ahead. I mean, I just came back from Florence as you came back from somewhere, and it's research. I mean, it's fun, and you just absorb things as you do in cultural spaces like that. But it's for ideas and to keep moving forward and seeing what others are doing.
And I know the family, beyond the great service it provides to that the culinary happiness of all of us, you do a ton of charity work on top of it. It's been really terrific of you.
That's a pleasure.
Well, then you're being humble already. You can see you take after your dad, not wanting to talk about yourself, so to speak. But it's something that I know that we all appreciate. To give you an idea, and then I don't know how else to put it. You're so extraordinary that you actually have your own kind of foundry, if you will, where you make the copper pots. It's unbelievable.
Well, we've had over the years enough need to have the constant, not repair of things, but again, need to make things. So yes, we have a coppersmith who's in his 80s from Austria, and he's amazing. And those craftspeople aren't around that much anymore. So we do like to have him make these great things.
Well, it's an amazing culinary experience. It's romantic. It's everything that you could envision in a great place to be in West Orange, New Jersey, and one of the 3 signature properties of the entire region. And thanks to you and your family for making it all a possibility.
Thank you for your recognition.
Thanks.